We're going to check brake fluid today on our vehicle. Brake fluid is pretty easy to check, generally, if you know where to look and what to look for and how to interpret. So our brake fluid reservoir is sitting on top of the master cylinder, and the master cylinder is generally always in front of the driver, so the left side of our vehicle. And if we look on our left side of the vehicle, this is our driver's side. You see some components. Here's the battery, there's a strut tower, fuse box actually, and if we look over here, this is our master cylinder right here, or our master cylinder reservoir, excuse me. So that's where we check our fluid, and that's where we fill it up if we need to. A couple of cautions that we want to adhere to when we're checking brake fluid, our brake fluid level in our master cylinder. For one thing, we don't want to pull the cap off if we don't have to. Most reservoirs are translucent cylinders, meaning they're not clear, but we can kind of see the fluid through them, and that's how we're going to do it. But removing the cap to check the fluid, what it does is it introduces air and moisture into the system, and what that does is it lowers the boiling point of the brake fluid, which is, just trust me, it's not a good thing. And the other thing that could happen is we could get dirt, little pieces of dirt or something inside the reservoir, which gets into the master cylinder, which can start to plug passages or restrict some passages, so it makes our brakes less effective. Bunch of good information is found on the cap. Now I know I told you you're not supposed to, but I'm going to pull the cap off just for your benefit. Notice that it says on the cap, there's the cap, it says warning. Let's see, here we go. Warning, clean the filler cap before removing. That's to keep the dirt out, and only .3 brake fluid from a sealed container should go in here. So a sealed container is pretty important. Don't put brake fluid in if it's been sitting around open, even with the seal broken, sitting around for more than 6 months. You want some new brake fluid, some new fresh stuff. In order to get an accurate check of our fluid level in our brake master cylinder reservoir, that's probably best that the vehicle's level. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but we're going to actually look for some markings on the reservoir. Generally the reservoir will have a minimum and a maximum, and the fluid level just needs to be in between those. It shouldn't be above the max, and it shouldn't be below the min, and there's some reasons why we can see both of those. Here we've got a good close-up view of our master cylinder, and I have a light in here to help us see some of these marks, but of course it's pretty easy to see the max up there, so that's our maximum line. We shouldn't see fluid anywhere above that. And then way down here you'll see the minimum. There we go, there's our minimum line right there, and I want to see the brake fluid somewhere in between there. And you see where there's some discoloration here, where this part is dark and this part is light. My brake fluid level is right about here, so it's halfway between minimum and maximum. So to sum up, the fluid levels between the minimum and maximum, which is okay. I'm not going to add any. I don't need to take any out because it's over full. I'm good to go.